Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Vikas Sharma. I am assistant professor over here and I will be taking to you on a short tour of this automobile engineering lab. So, I will introduce to you the facilities that we are having over here which are basically used for the undergraduate mechanical engineering students. Okay? So, come let us go. So, we will begin with the basic idea of the engine, how an engine works. So, basically these are 4 different cut sections over here where we could see how a two stroke petrol engine can work. Okay. So, these are the cut sections of this by which we can understand the working of the IC engine, how an IC engine works. Conventionally these engines were basically used backdated in 1990s when we were having scooters. Okay. Nowadays the technology has been improved and now we have these 4-stroke engines. Okay. So, here we could see that these are the cut section of the 4-stroke engine. You could see a light blinking over there. You could see, if you can closely look out here, you could see a light coming over here with just for a fraction of seconds. Okay. So, this basically lights gives us an idea how the fuel is going to burn inside and then the power can be generated. So, these 2 cut sections are basically related for the 4-stroke petrol engine as well as 4-stroke diesel engine. Then this is a cut section model of a planetary gearbox system. So, how a planetary gearbox works, what are the different components in that. Okay. So, these are basically used for the power transmission of the different machine components. Okay. So, you could see if we can stop this. Okay. If we can stop this, then how this is going to operate. Okay. So, you could see this thing. The another arrangement is you can use it in 2 different ways. Okay. If I have fixed this, you can see that this ring is now rotating. If I am fixing this, how it is going to rotate. So, with this we can have 2 different types of arrangement, or we can say 2 different types of gear systems that can be working. Okay. Now, let us look at the another arrangements which we are having at our institute. So, this is the cut section, or we can say a model of the double wishbone suspension system. So, this is the double wishbone suspension system. It is basically used in advanced 4 vehicles where we could see that the suspension, whenever it is going on an unpaved road, the vibrations or the ride quality improves. So, this is the cut section of the double wishbone suspension system. So, this is the steering arrangement. Here you could see all these different components. Now, let us come to the another similar kind of, we can say, the suspension system which is known as the McPherson strut system. Okay. These are used in conventional 4 vehicles where we have a single we can say the strut as well as the springs. Okay. And then there are the tie rods, or these are the points which are connected to the steering, or we can say to the steering wheel. So, if you move these steering wheels, then these drums will move on the either side, and this way we can absorb the vibrations which are coming because of the unpaved road balance. This is the 2-dimensional, or we can say 2 degree of freedom vehicle simulator. Here we could understand how a driving can be done, what are the different modes of the driving that can be done with this an arrangement. Thereafter, now let us come to this setup, which is basically the cut section of the drum brakes. Okay. So, nowadays in 2-wheelers or in 4-wheelers we usually have these drum brakes. Okay. So, this is the arrangement of the drum brake. You could see that these drums are rotating over here, and whenever we are going to apply the brake pedal, these drum brakes are going to stop. So, this is the arrangement of the drum brake assembly. This is the arrangement of the disc brake assembly. So, if you could see, this is the disc over here. Okay. And on the either side we have 2 discs. Okay. And then this is the brake pedal. So, how an arrangement of the disc brake is being used in automobile, we could understand the idea from this setup. Thereafter, we have the demonstration model of the electronic ignition system. Here we could see that in a in a automobile, basically in a car, if you could see that there are 4 cylinders. So, for all those 4 cylinders we have 4 different spark plugs, and this is the ignition coil. So, based on this ignition coil, alternatively these sparks ignites the fuel and then the power is generated within the system. This is the cut section of the advanced, or we can say nowadays we are using power windows. So how a power window basically works, we could understand from these cut sections. So here you could see that there is an we can say a semi gear over here, and whenever we are going to use those levers, okay, those push buttons up and down, these levers are going to move and then this window will come up and down. So this is the cut section of that power window arrangement. Then in most of the vehicles we are now using the battery system. So with that battery system, the lights are being connected, the horns are connected, okay, the brakes are being connected. So all these things are connected with this kind of facility we could see over here. So this is the cut section of the, we can say, the electrical wiring system. So how whenever we are going to press the brake pedal, how these lights are being ignited, okay, the lights are being light up, okay. Similarly, whenever we are switching the lights for the front, okay, for the horn, the supply is arranged over here. This is the giant we can say the subsonic wind tunnel, which is used for the aerodynamic studies of the vehicle. Whenever a vehicle is traveling in the windy environment, when there are, we can say, the cross winds, okay, so how these cross winds affects the aerodynamics of the vehicle, that we could understand from this wind tunnel. So we have this subsonic wind tunnel. Using this subsonic wind tunnel, we can design the aerodynamics of the vehicle. We can modify the aerodynamics. We can go to where we can understand how these the streamlines or the wind flow is going to change with respect to the vehicle design. So it is the experimental setup for that. Now if we look at the steering system, this is the cut section of the steering system. So here you could see that this is the steering wheel over here, and with this steering wheel there is a rack and pinion mechanism over here. So this rack and pinion mechanism, with the help of this rack and pinion mechanism, you could see that the wheels are turning, okay. So this is the arrangement over here, which is of the steering system. Now if we look at the fuel supply system, because in a four vehicle we can say when there are four engines or there are four cylinders, so how the fuel is going to get distributed uniformly in all the systems, in all the engines, we could understand that from this setup. So here we have the fuel pump, this is the fuel chamber, and with this fuel pump all these lines are going in this, these are different the fuel injectors over here, okay. So this is basically an arrangement of the CRDI engine, by which we are going to understand the idea about how the fuel is going to travel from this engine, from this fuel pump to the inside the cylinder. This is one of the in-house fabricated vibration test bench, where we are going to look at the vibrations of the shafts, okay. So whenever we know that whenever we are operating a engine or a vehicle, we have a wider range of operating speed. So for that wider range of operating speed, if there is a shaft which is flexible in nature, we could see that there will be lateral and lateral vibrations which are going to damage the mounting. So for that we have developed in-house this experimental setup, and it is basically used for the research based application. We are going to monitor these vibrations and how these vibrations can be compensated. The last one is, we could see that this is the differential, how the power is generated from the engine and how it is delivered to the road wheels. Without this it cannot be possible, okay. So this is basically the cut section of the differential. If you could see over here, you could see an arrangement of the planetary gearbox in such a way that if we rotate one of the wheel, only one wheel will rotate, the second will remain stationary. So this way we can change the mechanics, or we can change the dynamics of the vehicle whenever we are going to transmit the power from the engine to the wheel. The last one we could see over here is the arrangement by which we can measure or we can check what is the power quality, or how much effective is the alternator or the battery, we can say, okay. So for that an arrangement, we have an auto electrical test bench. Using this auto electrical test bench, we can check the motor as well as the alternator which are going to used in the automobiles for their power generation, okay. So this is all about the automobile engineering which we are using over here. If you will come to this institute, you will have a great glance of all these things, working on them, and if you are an automobile enthusiastic, it will be a good opportunity to learn from here. Thank you everyone.